Hi, Terri Fedonczak here, your field guide to plugged in parenting. I have been asked by numerous people why I felt the need to write the book Field Guide to Plugged In Parenting, even if you were raised by wolves. And it all really started with a kernel of an idea. I was walking along the streets of Atlanta in the neighborhood where my niece lived, and we were talking about our dreams. And I told her that my dream was to write a parenting book. And this was about 16 years ago. And so we started talking about parenting. She was young and in college, and I had two little kids at the time going through a divorce. And I was crystallizing everything that I believed in and my parenting plan. And she looked at me because she knew how I was raised, and she said, "Where did you come up with that?" And I said, "I don't really know. I, watched a lot of the Cosby Show growing up, and I love Super Nanny, and I just kind of cobbled together this parenting plan." And she said, "You should write a book." And I said, "I should write a book, but I have to get my kids through adolescence first, or I won't have any kind of expertise whatsoever. People will just dismiss me altogether." So I got my kids through adolescence. We came through a very ugly divorce. I remarried a wonderful man and had a very high-powered job that led to a lot of stress. And I knew I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. I knew I wanted to be a writer, and I knew I wanted to help kids, but I didn't know how to do that from behind a desk as a commercial real estate agent. So then along comes breast cancer, and it shook me up. It shook up my world completely. And I started thinking about writing that book again. When I got breast cancer, they told me that I would have to have radiation and a lumpectomy. And my first thought was, oh, thank God I get to lie down for a really long time with a really good excuse. That's how tired I was. And that's how much I had avoided self-care for the last, 15 years or so. So breast cancer gave me an excuse, and it gave me the push that I needed to change my life. And I had already been parenting my kids along a parenting plan that I had come up with according to my own family values. And breast cancer just sort of fast forwarded everything, and it brought things into focus in a way that I don't think anything else could have. So I went back to this book that I had been cobbling together on Post-it notes and on recorded tapes and those little bitty tape recorders. I used to record those when I was on long drives, just thoughts about parenting. And I cobbled them all together, and I wrote them down, and I sent them off to an editor, and that was the start. So now that little 60-page book is a 260 some odd page book. And from everybody who's read it, they really like it, and it really calls out to them, because I think the issue about being a wolf baby, which is what I call those of us who were raised by wolves or raised in an environment where you weren't nurtured and you weren't okay. I think what happens to us is that we are raised in an environment of lack, and we take that into our parenting. And it comes out in various and asunder ways. We're disconnected from our kids because we don't feel like we're okay. So this book answers that question. How do you raise well-balanced, kind, generous kids if you weren't raised that way? It gives you tools. It gives you life coaching tools. After I went through my life coaching certification, I started using the tools on my family, much to their dismay sometimes. But it did give me a perspective that I had never had before. And it honed my parenting in a way that I never thought I could. So I've put all of those tools into this book, and I've made it very easy for you to come up with your own plan. It's not going to be like my plan, because it's your plan and it's your family. But I teach you how to define your family values in a way that you can come up with your own parenting plan and reconnect to your children. And there is no better joy than the feeling of being connected to your kids. And that's what this book will give you the tools to do. So I hope that answers questions as to why I wrote the book. And the reason I'm in this funny get-up is because when I came back from Africa and I watched how the lionesses worked together, it gave me a new purpose, not just helping parents and kids, but helping girls of all ages to discover their own power. And I build that on lioness power, because the way the lionesses work together as a pride is something that I think humans would really benefit from. So please visit me on my website at www.girlpowerforgood.com and learn all about lioness power. And also, if you are struggling with your parenting or know someone who is, please buy my book. You can get it on Amazon. Again, it's Field Guide to Plugged In Parenting, even if you were raised by wolves. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.